Hi, I'm Dominic, Ajax Systems Business Development Manager for the UK North. I'm here today at Satsecure. This is a follow-up from the Q&A session I did for you guys a couple of weeks ago, where I hope we dispelled a few common misconceptions about our system and gave you a bit more confidence about moving forward and installing our products. Today I'm just going to do you a quick run-through, live demonstration of how you would install or pair one of our kits with the Ajax Pro application, how you can configure devices, and then in subsequent videos we'll also do a full product run through and go through some of our new products with you, give you a live demonstration of those as well. So to set up an Ajax system, you just need the Ajax Pro application installed onto a tablet or a phone. This can be done on Apple or Android, whichever is your weapon of choice. The application is downloaded from the Google Play Store or Android App Store. You then confirm your mobile number and your email address, and it sends you verification codes to both of those. Type both of those back into the application, and that confirms and sets up your account on the Ajax Cloud. Once you've done so, you open up the application either on your mobile or your tablet. To pair up a new system, you take the hub out of the kit box, pop the back off like so. You'll see here we've got power and Ethernet sockets, so you give it an Ethernet and mains power supply. Both cables come in the box. You then turn the power button on here. On the front you'll see the light come on. It'll be red if there's no internet connectivity, and if there's one internet connection it will be yellow or green, and dual internet connectivity will turn white. You can put a CSL data SIM card in here, which will give you your dual connectivity to the internet in case of Ethernet failure, power loss, that kind of thing. There's a 15-hour battery backup in the hub as well, and I will do another video further down the line with a guide as to how to install a CSL data SIM card and how to set an account up with CSL. Once you've got your green light or yellow light on the front, put the back on to stop the device from going into tamper, like so. If you want to actually pair it with the application, on the app, you click Add at the top there, Add New Hub. It prompts you to give the device a hub name, so we'll call this Satsecure. And then press this little blue box here to scan the QR code. QR code on the back of the hub. There we go, that's paired up already now. Once that's paired with your Ajax Pro account, that's then locked to your account, so no other installation company can come and tamper with your device. Your end user can't change the settings on the device either if you block them from doing so. That hub has now appeared in my list of hubs on my Pro account, so we'll drill into that one hub there. Across the bottom, you've got devices, rooms, notifications and control. The control is just a digital replica of the Ajax fob. If we go to rooms at the bottom, you can add a room. We've already added Satsecure training here. When you add a room, you can assign a photo of the room as well, so when the notification comes through to the end user, if they have, for example, a PIR going to an alarm state in their lounge, rather than it coming through and saying alarm in zone 1, as with some of our competitor products, zone 1 doesn't mean anything to an end user. It will come through saying PIR in lounge, motion detected, with a picture of their lounge to give familiarity to that as well. So once you've got a room, you can drill into a room and add devices to that room. So I'll now talk you through pairing some of the other Ajax devices that you would get in your kit. There's a range of different kits to suit different applications, whether you're installing it into a home or an apartment, whether you want visual verification with a motion cam, or whether you just want a standard intruder alarm system. But the guys here at Satsecure or any of our other distributors can give you full information on all of the different kits and the pricing. So add device. You can choose to either add an Ajax device or add a third-party camera. We'll go back through cameras in a minute. So when adding an Ajax device, as with the hub, it promises to give it a name. So we'll call this front door. Again, QR code. So on a contact, The one with the little LED on the front is the side with the actual electronics in, and then you get two different magnets with it as well. So if you're putting this into quite a tight aperture, you can just put a small one in there to enable you to still open the door or the window, or you can use this one for a matching pair. So take the back off, you push the bracket down towards the middle, that clips off like so. You then scan the QR code. There you go, that's paired already. Click OK, and it now prompts you to turn the device on. On the contact, there's a little rocker switch in here. Push that across, the LED comes on the front, and that's it. That device, as you can see, has already paired front door. So pull it back on like so, and pull it across to lock it into place. You can now drill into the settings for that particular device. It gives you a full overview of what's happening on that device, ambient temperature in the room that the device is in, signal strength between the device and the hub, the connection to the wider internet, battery life. You've just seen that just popped up 100% now as it's read it, and again the temperature's just popped up 20 degrees as it's read that in the room as well. Tamper, any entry exit settings, and whether it's a primary detector is on or not. If you want to change any of these settings, you click a little blue cog in the top corner here. You now have a full list of options come up. So you can change the room if you want to change what room it's in. You can set entry exit settings. So here it's got a little slider for how many seconds you want to have for an entry exit delay on the front door. So 20 seconds, click on that. Done. And it's already changed it there to 20. Exit, just the same, so we'll set that to 20 as well. And done. There you go. Delays in night mode, that's for if obviously you've got a device set up in night mode, so when you go to bed on a night time, you might want the devices downstairs on, but the device is upstairs off. It's asking you, do you still want the same delays that you set for entry exit in the daytime to apply on a night time? If obviously you're going to bed, you're not going to be leaving the house, so you perhaps wouldn't have those settings on when it's in night mode. You have on the external contact on the device. When you get the device, there's a little jump lead that comes in the box with it, and on the back of the device here, there is a little socket. From there, you can hardwire any other third-party device to that contact, and it will send the signal for both of the devices, this and the external one, through to the application as well. So you can use two devices off that one. That can be used for things like if you want to put a third-party shock sensor on a window, you can send the signal back with our contact. There's an always active tab on there as well. So if, for example, you had an external detector in your front garden, when you were at home, you may want to still get a notification if somebody comes into your garden, even when you are in and the alarm isn't set. So if you put a device on always active, you'll still either get a notification or an alarm event, depending on how you set it up, even when the system isn't armed. Below those settings, you've then got a range of different testing you can do while you're on site to make sure the device is installed correctly. So signal strength to the back to the hub, detection zone test, attenuation test. If at any time you are unsure of anything, the bottom tab there is user guide. So you click on that and it takes you straight through to the latest installation manual for that particular product. So if you go back to do a call out 12 months down the line, you're not rooting around in the back of your van looking for your old paper instructions or trying to scroll through the Ajax website to find the relevant page. It's all right there at your fingertips. So quickly talk you through pairing up the other devices, and then we'll go through some of the other features of the software. So we do three different variants of PIR. We do a Motion Protect, which is just a standard infrared. We do a Motion Protect Plus, which is a dual tech infrared and microwave, and then we do a Motion Protect Combi, which is a infrared with an inbuilt audio break glass. That works at up to 9 meters away. So if somebody was to break the window, then that would come through as a separate detection to an infrared detection on the application. To take the back off any of the range of Motion Protect devices, they're all sitting within the same casing. So that pushes down, drops off like so. On the back of the bracket, you've got 4 moulded guides as to where to screw your holes, so to drill your holes for your raw plugs. All your rope plugs and screws for all of the devices for mounting come in the box with them. So you can attach that flush to a wall, or there's also mouldings in the corners there, so you use the same bracket whether you're putting it into the corner of a room or whether you're putting it flush against the wall. In the corner here, there's a physical tamper switch which pushes on the back of the device there. So if somebody does rip that device from the wall, that part of the bracket comes with the device, and then that sets off a tamper alarm. The device, as before, is paired by scanning the QR code. So if we go back onto the application, go back into the same room, we'll put the device in the same room as before. We go add device, give the device a name, call it PR, scan the QR code as before, and that's that device paired already. Okay, it now says turn device on, and instantly the device appears on the application in the device list. As per before, you can then drill into the settings for that particular device. You get the same overview of status of everything that's happening on the system, and when you click into the cog in the top corner, once again you can manually change the settings of the device from within there, run testing, or pull yourself the user guide up if there's anything at all that you're not sure about. To then hook the device on the wall, it simply, if you get the bracket the right way around, it simply pushes onto the device and then pulls down to lock into place. Moving on to a Siren, the internal Siren, the bracket screws off, like so, drops off. Again, on the application, you go to add device, internal Siren. Scan QR code as per before. There you go. And then on this, it's prompting me again to power the device on. On this device, it's a push button there. So you hold that down for 3 seconds. And now the internal Siren is paired with the app as well. Go into the settings as per before with that. Obviously, your overview of your status is slightly different. With the Sirens, you've got settings for the volume, the alarm duration, that kind of thing. As per before, little blue cog in the top corner. You can change those settings. So alarm duration, anything from 3 seconds all the way up to 180 seconds it will ring for. You've got 3 different volume settings in there, quiet, loud and very loud. I think that device actually goes up to 105 decibels, and the external Siren does 115 decibels, which our marketing team claim is louder than thunder. I've accidentally set one of them off whilst I had the device in my hand. I can tell you my ear was ringing for quite some time, so I think an intruder would probably get a nasty shock if they did set one of those off. You have settings on there for whether or not the system beeps when arming and disarming. So if you were using a fob or you were using your mobile application to disarm the system on your way into the house, maybe the external Siren will go beep when you disarm the system. And similarly, if you're leaving the house, you shut the front door and you click it on your fob or on your app, it can give you a chirp to let you know that you actually set the system. You've also got beep on delay. So if you did have a door contact that had a 20-second delay on it, you set the alarm system at the keypad. The internal Siren and or the external Siren will then give you a beep to count down that delay, so you know how long you've got to get out of the house and get that door shut before the alarm actually kicks in. So we'll pair up an external Siren now. For those of you that aren't aware, we've got 2 different versions of our external Siren now. We have the standard Ajax street Siren, like so, that comes in a silver or a black. All of the other products I've showed you as well are available in black or white, whichever you prefer. The standard street Siren can be fitted by twisting the bracket like so. There's guide holes as to where you screw that to the wall inside. It tells you which way is up, so you screw that on the wall like so, and it twists back on into place. As I said, 2 different variants of the street Siren. This is our classic street Siren. We've just launched a new street Siren, the street Siren double deck. which is in response to a lot of UK installers complaining that they couldn't put branding onto this. A lot of traditional installers use a plastic bell box that they have a sticker or a screen printing on, and weren't able to do so with this. So it's been a bit of an objection to people moving over to our product. Obviously that will change moving forward with the launch of the Street Siren Double Deck. Kept the classic shape of the Ajax Siren for our own brand identity. But with this, it has a removable brand plate on the front, which you can then have screen printed, or you can put a sticker on. So that actually pulls off like so. That can go to the printers. If you're purchasing the new Street Siren Double Deck, you will get just the siren in the box, or you'll get just the siren in a kit, and then you would buy from your distributor packs of these brand plates in packs of 10, which you can then screen print yourself or get stickered up. If you order 4 packs of the brand plates, so 40 covers in total, we'll actually do the screen printing for you free of charge in Kia before we send them on to your distributor for you. So back to pairing the device, same as before with the other devices. Once the bracket's removed, you go to add device, name external Siren, and then scan the QR code. And click OK. Prompts you to turn the power on again. Once again, like with the internal siren, it's a push down power button on the back. You hold down for 3 seconds, and now the device has paired. Same as with the internal siren, you've got your overview of the battery, the tamper, etc., external power. The settings in the top corner again give you access to change the length of time, the duration that the siren rings for, the volume of the siren, whether or not you want it to chirp on arming and disarming, and on delay. And in addition to the physical tamper switch, which you get on the other devices, this one also has a gyroscopic accelerometer in it. So if somebody were to rip that from the wall, the siren itself moves more than 10 degrees in any direction, and that will trip an alarm event. Whilst the device does come with batteries already pre-installed, as with all of our other devices, this device also has a 12-volt power supply option, should you wish to do so, so that 2 years, 3 years down the line, you're not having to get back up your ladder on a cold and rainy morning to change the batteries in that particular device. Move on to a fob. Add device. Fob. And obviously with the fob, there's no physical QR code on there, but there is one underneath the lid of the box. And also you can pair the device rather than a standard power button. You would hold the device with the little cutout to the bottom and press the panic button and the arm button at the same time simultaneously to get it to pair. So scan QR code on the box. There we go. OK. And then again, as I say, it prompts you to press those 2 buttons simultaneously, and instantly the device is then paired. On there, obviously, the overview status isn't as complicated as with the other devices because there aren't as many settings for the fob, but you can go into the settings there. You can change the name of who the key fob is assigned to. You can assign it to a specific user on the system, and you can turn the panic button on there on or off. That is only a single push panic button. We do have a double push, double button, separate panic button launching into the UK market back end of this summer, hopefully, which will meet compliance for SSIB and NSI for PD662. So that's it. I mean, all the devices are now paired in. You can see how quick and easy that was. And then obviously just with time to screw the devices onto the wall as well, you can probably already see how you could quite easily do a full install within an hour or two. Therefore doing probably 3 or maybe even 4 installs in a single day, and increasing your revenue by having less time on site. I will now talk you through a few of the other things that you can do with the software, not just obviously changing the device settings, but how you would, once you've finished the install, hand the system over to the end user. And also, if you were part of a larger company, maybe has a few different engineers out on the road, how the engineer would hand the system over to the company once they've done the install, so it's not just on their personal Ajax Pro account on their phone, but actually grouped together on the company's account, so that they can monitor all of their systems and maybe restrict the access of the engineer after they've completed the install. So on the Pro application, make sure you drilled into the correct hub. Across the bottom, as we said before, you've got devices, rooms, notifications and control. We'll go to devices, we'll go into the settings for the actual hub itself. So from within the settings here, you can actually geofence the hub. So geofencing means you can set a ring around the property, so that if the end user goes a certain distance away from the property without setting the alarm on, it can actually send them a reminder to say, did you forget to turn the alarm on? And they can choose then from the application whether or not to arm or disarm it. Similarly, they're coming home at the end of the day, they get within that same geofence range of the property and the alarm is set. It will send them a notification reminding them to disarm the system. So it drops a map on whereabouts you are in the world. You can zoom in on that to make sure that it's correct for where you are. So that's right for my location here today at Satsecure. And then you can toggle on whether or not it reminds you when leaving the property or reminding to disarm on when you leave. You can add a monitoring station. The hub communicates with third-party monitoring stations via SIA protocol. Ajax systems use the SIA DC09 protocol, which is the latest SIA protocol. And we're already written into a lot of the main monitoring platforms, so Gemini and Bold and a lot of the other applications most commonly used by the UK's top monitoring stations. To set up a SIA connection, you type in the IP address and the port number that the monitoring station wants you to connect to, and that automatically then establishes a connection. You can go into service on here. When you scroll down the options on service, you can do system integrity check. So an example of system integrity check working would be if I'd accidentally left the back door open of my property, I've gone to set the alarm, the system integrity check would detect that the back door was open, it would send a notification to your mobile phone saying that the back door was open. Did you mean to leave it open, yes or no? And do you want to arm or disarm the system anyway, regardless of the fact that that door is open? So in addition to the Ethernet connection, as I said before, you can set up a cellular connection. I will do a separate video on CSL and show you how the CSL SIM card works at a later date. But all your options for that are within the hub settings there as well. To add a users to the system, you click on users, you click on send invite code, you click on add, and then it prompts you to type in the end user's email address. It then sends them an invite, inviting them to download the Ajax end user application via either their App Store or their Google Play Store. Once they've done so, as per when you initially set up your Pro account, it will ask them to confirm their email address and their mobile number. And then once that they've done so, that will establish their end user account on the Ajax Cloud, and the system that you've already set up and configured will automatically appear in their end user application. Once an end user is in the end user application list, you can then choose what that end user can and can't do on the system and what they do and don't get notifications for. In the same way that you can add an end user, you also have Pro. So Pro, if you're an engineer that wants to hand the system back over to the company that you work for, you go to connect a Pro, you type in the email address into there. Again, it sends an invite through if that particular person doesn't already have the Pro application installed. But in this instance, obviously the company that the engineer worked for would already have an Ajax Pro account, and by sending that email, the hub will automatically populate then into that Pro's both mobile and desktop software. So you've got a list of hubs on the desktop there. So if I was an engineer that just installed the system now, send invite to Pro, and that hub would automatically then pop up on this list. You can see in fact already that the fourth one along there is Satsecure. So in the same way as I can drill into the devices on my mobile device, you can also drill into this same system from within the desktop application as well. With regards to the actual arming and disarming of the system itself, it can be done with the application. It can be done with the fob or with a keypad, as per on here. With the keypad, you can have a different code for each of the users on the system, and then in addition to that, you can also have a generic code. So say you're going on holiday and you might want to let a neighbour in to come and let your cat out or whatever it be. You can give them a separate code so that on the event log, it's not logging as being a specific user of the system that's entered the property. Similarly, if you've got a clean that comes once a week or something like that, you can give them a generic code as well. The digital version of the physical fob can arm the system. So straight away you'll get a notification to say that system's armed, and you'll see that simultaneously the Pro is getting notifications down at the bottom there as well. So disarm the system. Once again, instantly I've got a notification saying the system's disarmed, and also that's popping up on the log for the Ajax Pro account there as well. The button at the bottom left is to arm into night mode. Again, instant notifications coming through to say that that's done. I know that on some of our competitor products, if you're using their mobile applications to arm a system, disarm a system, you can sometimes be waiting 30 seconds, maybe up to even a minute, for that notification to come through and tell you that the system's actually armed or disarmed, and with ours it happens almost instantaneously. The last button in the bottom right hand corner is a panic button, as I said before when we were talking about the fob. On the digital version of the panic button, you press that, it does a little countdown. Each end user on the system will get an alarm notification come through, as you've also seen one just come through then on the desktop. If you then drill into the notifications, it says here Dominic has pressed the panic button at 13:30, but when you drill into that further, it actually shows you a map of whereabouts I was in the world when I pressed that. So that's a great feature if you're selling into families. I know if my kids are out playing on the park on an evening and they feel threatened, they can press that. I get a notification, not just telling me that they're in trouble, but telling me exactly whereabouts in the world they are. Even for a commercial setting, if you had a lone working security guard maybe on a site, they feel like they're in trouble, they can press that. That goes through to the main office, and they can send some backup or assistance for that particular guard. I know that there are other companies out there that do sort of man down and panic devices, but they're on a paid subscription basis and can be quite costly. And this is something that we give you as an extra free of charge add-on with the Ajax Ajax system software. Just to reiterate, as I said before, none of our software is chargeable. None of our cloud services are chargeable. Again, a lot of our competitors do charge you for these things, and that's something that we give you free of charge with our system. All updates, firmware and software updates are completely free of charge as well, and we constantly do work on R&D. We add new features to the software all the time, and those retrofit back onto to any systems. So there's any existing systems that you've installed that are connected via the Ajax Cloud will automatically do firmware updates, and then any new features that we bring out will be available on that particular system that you've installed. I'll just talk you through a few of the things on the desktop application now. So on the desktop application, you can do all of the things that you can do on the mobile application. It gives you a full view of all the hubs that you've got on the system. You can install both on the mobile and desktop application up to 3,000 hubs. If on your list of hubs you have a red dot with a number in it, that's to tell you that there is either an error or a fault or a notification that you need to view on that particular hub, and the number indicates how many different things there are on that system. So if we drill into the one we were working on before, Satsecure, you now have a full list of all the devices on the system. The red dot then comes onto the specific device, or devices plural, if there's more than one error on the system. Looking at this one, we can see that it's already on the hub, and that the red line over this side indicates what the issue is. So this is because we've not activated a backup cellular data SIM card on that particular system. As per on the mobile application, you can view the different rooms, you can add rooms to the system, you can edit rooms as well. You have a full notification panel, so you can see everything historically that's been going on that particular system. So if you remember back before to when I pressed the panic button and that came through on the mobile application, similarly, if you're monitoring this system, doing a self-monitored system, you can also then drill in and see whereabouts that was when a notification come through. So if you're monitoring the system on behalf of your customer, you can actually contact the police or whoever it be and make them aware of that panic button being pressed wherever your end user is in the world. You also have control of the system there as per before. The only thing that you do get with the desktop application that you don't get on the mobile application is a monitoring view. So this monitoring view here will give you your last 300 events in chronological order across all of the systems that you've installed. So if you are doing self-monitoring, you can see at a glance what's going on all of the systems that you've installed. It breaks these down into different types of events. So here is all events. If you just wanted alarm events, so that's whether it's an intruder, a fire, or a flood detection, it will give you an alarm. So that's just a list of alarm events, and at the side here you can see which hub they run. Malfunctions are anything from a tamper, a battery failure, external power failure, loss of internet connectivity, and that kind of thing. An event would be when you've put a malfunction right. So if you had a malfunction of there's been a power failure, your event would be that power has been restored. And then the last column there that you can break events down by is security, and that gives you a full log of who has armed or disarmed the system, how it was armed or disarmed, so whether it was done by the fob or the keypad, etc., and at what time that happens. So if somebody obviously queries an event on their system, you've got a full log there that you can access and tell them who has armed or disarmed the system and when they've done it. That's more or less it for today. As I said before, I hope that gives you a really good indication as to how quickly you can install and configure one of our systems, what you can do with the system remotely in terms of maintenance as well. And in future videos, we'll go through how CSL backup data is connected and how to set up a Ajax CSL account. And then we'll also do a video going through some of the new products that we're introducing to the market as well. Any questions, obviously feel free as ever to contact me, drop me a message on LinkedIn or email, give me a call, or contact the guys here at Satsecure if you would like any Ajax pricing or any further information on our products. Thank you very much for your time.